Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Govardhan Hill, the Govardhan Hill. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha, who's live in Mayapur. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to episode number
1261,
1261. Woo! Study the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, an ecstatic day here at Govardhan, Prabhu.
All right.
Yeah.
Mirrors begin to look like Anandamayi Ma over here.
We're just meandering around the hill, stopping, meeting holy people, stopping until, like abandoned old temples, sitting in the dust. Today we slept in the sand at Govardhan. We just laid down and then reading to each other, chanting prayers. It's been quite wonderful. Stopping and getting a lassi.
So sleeping, eating,
mating and defending. What's wrong with that? That was great.
Sounds wonderful.
People that you meet. Unbelievable. Did you know the story about Hanuman and Govardhan Hill? Good story.
I do. I'm not sure if now's the time for it. You sound like you want to tell it, though. That's the impression I get.
Well,
I think it's just too esoteric, Just hold on that one, really. Okay. Want to hold on?
He's corking me again. Okay, I'll hold that.
Isn't it a little?
I'm just gonna put it out there that Hanuman also lifted Govardhan Hill. Just putting that out there to the people. Okay.
I can tell you're getting towards the end of your India trip because your glasses have
broken.
Only
I've broken about 4 pairs on this trip already. But tomorrow we go to Vrindavan.
Nice.
So there's no show tomorrow. We're traveling. And then we're. Oh yeah, here, Merrick, tell us a little announcement.
Yeah, that's the American regulars.
Sure. So for the Zoomers, there's no show tomorrow, and then Thursday and Friday we're going to go back to 6 a.m. Eastern time, so our regular time slot. Also for Bhakti Recovery Group meetings, we have online. We have the men meeting at noon today, and the women at 2 p.m. But there's also a whole lot of in-person meetings going on. So in Alachua today at 6:30, there's a women's meeting. And then also today at 6 p.m. in Nashville, Tennessee at Yoga Soul Bhakti Center, there's also a meeting. And then we also have meetings at the Bhakti Center in New York City and in Mayapur, West Bengal. So if you live in Alachua, Mayapur, Nashville, or New York City, there's in-person meetings.
Maybe the way to announce this kind of stuff is just to say we have live meetings today in Bing Bang Boom, and go to brg.com or something like that to find out the details. Because I think if we start doing live meetings every day now, it's going to get like too crazy.
Things blowing up. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. I did an interview for the BRG, for the Bhakti Recovery Group the other day.
The other day?
Yeah,
All right.
yesterday. Yeah, yesterday.
Okay.
It's probably come out
You
soon.
shared some of your addictions. You won't tell us.
Oh, it's wild. It gets dark. It gets, we go to some very dark places.
I'm Kaustubha. I've never been addicted to anything except chanting the holy name.
I wish I was addicted.
Boring.
I wish I was addicted.
We want recovery. We don't want a person who's already recovered.
All right. Nugget?
I got a nugget for you.
Okay, we talked about doing a Jane Goodall nugget yesterday, but we got sidetracked, and now we'll go back to Jane Goodall today.
Spiritual lady. She's the being in beings.
I like
That's sort of what a materialist is. They don't see the being in beings. Raghunath.
They don't see the being in beings. I got it.
Yeah, that.
Okay. What does Jane Goodall have to tell us today?
She says each one of us matters, has a role to play, and makes a difference. Each one of us must take responsibility for our own lives, and above all, show respect and love for living things around us, especially each other and the gorillas.
She didn't
say the gorillas. I just added that. Especially each other.
Let's see if we got the same algorithms, Raghu.
I don't think we do.
Sometimes we see the same stuff.
Okay.
But I just saw some algorithm where it had like some lady had her little baby by a window and the gorilla was on the other side of the window. And then the gorilla was like, oh, let me go get my baby. And the gorilla ran and got its baby and brought it up and brought it right up to the window and was showing it to the lady and then was kissing the little gorilla. Have you seen that one?
No, what are you talking about?
What do you mean, what am I talking about? I just told you what I'm talking about. I saw a little video clip in my algorithms, right?
Oh, I thought you meant our internal algorithms. I didn't think we were talking about computers. I thought you meant to let's see if we're thinking about the same. I thought we were talking about a Bhagavad Gita verse. Let's see if our algorithms are.
I'm talking about like our Instagram algorithms or YouTube or whatever.
I don't think I saw that.
Okay, Saragrahi saw it. Nityananda Chandra saw it. Yeah, some people saw that. It was just showing, just the emotions and similar feelings and the connection that you have with gorillas. And of course, that was a big theme for Jane Goodall, but perhaps we should focus on this nugget for today. What thoughts, Raghunath?
Why don't you go first?
All right. A couple things here. In one sense, it just sounds kind of like a feel-good thing, like, oh, everybody has a role to play, but there's truth in that, and it's really important truth. But she brought it to showing respect and love for living things around us, especially each other. And that, again, it kind of gets to the essence of spiritual vision or spiritual realization, right? Again, that I am not turned off, even like necessarily turned on, right? It turned on or turned off to you because of your externals, your body, your gender, your race, your species even. I'm feeling a connection to you in one sense of spiritual oneness, although we're individuals eternally, but I'm feeling that spiritual oneness. That is really important. And the role that we play, some of us are going to be playing quote unquote big roles. And some of us are going to be playing quote unquote little roles. Those are also external, superficial considerations. But the important thing is that we do have an idea of what our role is. How do I move through this world in such a way where I'm responsible and where my awareness is rising up to that level where I am developing love and respect for every living being, beginning with the origin of all life. And then I don't have to necessarily worry about whether my role is, I'm not Taylor Swift or whatever, you know, like the biggest star in the world.
Take away, he's not Taylor Swift.
What's that? Not Kaustubha is
Their
not Taylor
takeaway
Swift.
today. Kaustubha is not Taylor Swift. In case
but
some of us were confused.
but the main thing is it's actually not so much how much we accomplish, but really it's how much of ourself we give, you know. How much do we, or you could say, like, how much do we hold on to or not hold on to, you know, for in selfishness, and how much do we let go and make mine. So like, even you may have, you know, like, you know, it's not unusual, we find a single mother working hard to support her kids, and the whole life becomes a life of sacrifice, you know. And maybe she doesn't doesn't become, you know, recognized widely for it, but maybe the realm of her sacrifice and her contemplation and her service is going to be in this small, you know, this small arena. But if it's done selflessly, and if it's done with that respect and love, that is just as purifying and just as pleasing in bhakti to Krishna and to all the acharyas in our line, all the great teachers. You know, that selfless sacrifice is just as pleasing. And of course, you know, there's perhaps the most famous story about this would be, what am I thinking? Let's see if these algorithms are connected. What story illustrates that?
I don't know what you're thinking of.
Who are you anyway?
I had another.
Do we know each
algorithm
other?
I thought we were really on board with, and it didn't play out. So
do we even know each other? That Lord Ram and the little squirrel.
Oh, the little squirrel.
Yeah. Would you like to tell that story, Ragana? You're a good storyteller.
Well, when they were building a bridge, building a bridge to Lanka, all the monkeys and bears who could carry quite big boulders started throwing these big stones in the earth. And then there was a little squirrel, and the little squirrel he had a tiny little pebble, no bigger than an acorn, and he wanted to help too, and he threw it in the sea to assist to build a bridge to go rescue Lady Sita. And the monkeys and the bears started saying, "Hey, come on, you couldn't be here. You're gonna be here your lifetimes with those tiny little pebbles.
Getting in the way.
What good are you doing? What good are you doing here?" And Lord Ram said, "Wait a second. Don't you understand? He's doing the best he can."
That's right.
And
I think he even said something like, because he's giving his all, he's contributing just as much as you are, right? You're giving your all, he's giving his all. It means you're both giving equally, right? I have a little, and then they say after that, he rubbed him on the back. You've heard that before?
No, that's where he got the stripes on the back?
The 3 stripes that, like in India, the little squirrels all have these 3 white stripes down their back. That's where he got that. I have a little something from Srila Prabhupada. This is a letter to a disciple in 1972.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
He wrote, "It is not the result of the work that we want." Now that's interesting, right? Because Prabhupada was trying to accomplish so much, wasn't he? Like, he took the last 12 years of his life, he was just circling the globe. He was opening temples and opening, starting farms and farm communities,
translating books and
trying to
instruct a bunch of Westerners.
He was trying to ignite a movement of bhakti all around the globe and engage
and
as
then
many.
Start establishing temples in India again.
Come back to India, and so he was trying to engage thousands of people in a mission, but still he's taking his time to write a letter to one of his disciples where he says, "It's not the result of the work that we want." I like that, right? "If only we sincerely preach to one person a day, that is sufficient. Never mind big programs. So my request to you is that you do not be bothered by these things. Krishna does not like to see his sincere devotees suffer or become frustrated or depressed. He will not stand by idly in such a case. Krishna has some plan for you." Listen to this, right? This right here. "Krishna has some plan for you. Always think in that way. and very soon he will provide everything to your heart's desire. Like that?
Like it. By the way, I thought we were going to go to this algorithm
Okay.
from the first canto, second chapter, because it was talking about everyone has a role to play,
Yeah.
but the role must involve love. So when we talk about, what's the verse? Dharmasvanusita pumsham. Is that it?
Which one are you looking for, though?
The one that says, without love, the highest dharma is
The Haritoshanam? What?
no,
That's what's done for the pleasure of. What algorithm are you talking?
we're on different algorithms. I'm
Life's
not even on the
desire
same
should be
algorithm.
directed towards never directed towards sense gratification.
One of those, but not that one.
All occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain.
Not that one either.
The occupational activities a person performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor.
Yes, that one. Dharmas vanustita pumsham vishvakshena katoshiya, right?
Not padaya
Redeem shrama eva hikevalam.
Yeah.
So it's not just being responsible. It's not just showing up and doing your duty. We all have a duty in this world.
Yeah.
But it's doing your duty where there actually is affection and love for the people in your life. And in this case, in the Bhagavatam says for God. That's when you first said, are we in the same algorithm? That's what I thought. Okay, he's going to say this verse. I know it. We think alike, me and Kaustubha.
I went to the
We're
squirrel.
on the same page again.
My squirrel was a squirrel and simultaneously not a squirrel, right? It was about a squirrel. But it wasn't really a squirrel.
I didn't think mine was a squirrel. I thought mine was.
I didn't say yours was a squirrel.
Mine was a realization.
Even my
of
squirrel was not
Jane
a squirrel.
Goodall.
Is my point.
And I was,
I
was heavily chastised on the message board. Jane Goodall was for chimps, not gorillas.
Okay. Is that one? Is that bother you? Are you a little bit of resentment for getting corrected on that one? You live to be corrected,
No,
Raghunath.
I'm okay to be corrected. I live to be corrected.
All right.
Thank you.
You know, there's another algorithm I'm thinking on. Let's see if we can connect on this one. Close your eyes, Raghunath. See if we can connect.
Okay.
I'm sending it over. I'm thinking for real.
Okay.
It has to do with everyone having a role to play. Did it come to you?
No.
You sure? Should I try to send it? I'm going to try to send it one more time. Just be
Try to
receptive.
airdrop it to me.
Open up.
I don't got it.
No, you got nothing over there.
Nothing.
You've been drinking too much lassi and rolling around too much.
Rolling around the dust of Vrindavan, reading books. Putting my head on Govardhan Hill.
Well, how about this? I'm going to give you a hint. I'm going to send it with a hint. I'll verbalize the hint, though, because that might be helpful.
Please.
Hint has to do with the Bhagavad Gita. It's in the Bhagavad Gita.
Role to play, Bhagavad Gita. I don't know.
Namitta matra bhava savya sachin. You know that one? 11th chapter.
Oh, look at Mara. Mara's got it. Mara and you are in the same.
It's better to do one's own duty imperfectly than to do another's duty perfectly.
Nope. Sorry, Mara, we're not connecting either.
Sorry,
but that's good. That's good. That is important. No, this I was thinking of. Krishna tells Arjuna, therefore, Arjuna, get up to fight. Prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies. Enjoy the flourishing kingdom. He says, they were already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Savyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, Prabhupada, in the commentary to this, Prabhupada says, Savyasachin. Do you know what Savyasachin refers to?
Ambidextrous.
I think that's what it means, ambidextrous.
He can fight with both hands.
Yeah, but what Prabhupada writes is he says it refers to one who can shoot arrows very expertly in the field. Thus, Arjuna is addressed as an expert warrior capable of delivering arrows to kill his enemies. Just become an instrument. This word, namitta matram, this word is also very significant. The whole world is moving according to the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish persons who do not have sufficient knowledge think that nature is moving without a plan, and all manifestations are but accidental formations. There are many so-called scientists who suggest that perhaps it was like this, or maybe like that. But there's no question of perhaps and maybe. There's a specific plan being carried out in the material world. What is this plan? This cosmic manifestation is a chance for the conditioned souls to go back home, back to Godhead. So Prabhupada's saying, like, the world moves for the liberation of all the living beings, and we all have a role to play in that. You know, we all have a role, and it may be a very apparently tiny role, or maybe like a very large role. Sometimes I see someone like Radha Swami, I say, my God, how many lives has this man touched? You know, how many lives has he changed? It's amazing.
Well, it's also we're also seeing in a very tiny way too. Sometimes there's a man or a woman who has just like a very soft heart, a loving heart, a spiritually connected, but they don't appear to have much influence.
Yeah.
But they have a child, or they have someone, a
Oh,
student
see, that's a
that
good point,
does
Brother.
massive things.
You never know. Yeah, you know, I
You never
remember.
know.
I think it was a long time ago. I think it might have been. I heard an interview with some musician. It may have been Joe Strummer, but I really don't remember. It was so long ago. And they were asking him, "Do you think songs can change the world?" Right? People write songs, and whoever it was answered, "Well, they may not change the world, but you know, they change people. They touch people, and people can change the world. You know."
Good.
And I think, yeah, so it's so true. You know, Arjuna was meant to be this big hero, and he was asked to do this service in this battle because that's what he was expert at. That's what, you know, he had a natural capacity for it, and that was his role. But any role, even if it's the little squirrel, whatever it is, let's find our contribution in bhakti, and let's connect wholeheartedly, and let's give as full-heartedly as we can, and that will be perfect for us and perfectly pleasing to Krishna. And, you know, and it'll be perfect in whoever we can serve with that as well. Sometimes it's just being a mother or father of one person, right? Sometimes it's being just a good friend to someone, you know, and trying to do that as well as you can. Sometimes, you know, I was speaking with Tara Prabhu today, and he was talking about some of the frustrating things people go through in spiritual organizations. It can be very disappointing sometimes. You know, it's so hard on any level to manage in the world and nowadays, and in a spiritual society where like the expectations are so high, people are commonly disappointed. And you know, we got to the point in the conversation where it's like, you know, you do what you can to bring good energy into the negative energy, you know, and if you can't do it in a big way, there's no point in just wallowing and complaining. You just try to do it, even if it's just in a small way, you know, but you try to contribute in some way that's positive. And we all have that role to play, you know.
Makes you lose faith in people, doesn't it?
No, it
Makes you
doesn't.
lose
It
faith
makes
in
me lose
people.
faith in the
Makes-
material world. That's what it is, you know. It's like, it makes me lose faith that this place and this age is a place where we can manipulate it. And, you know, I was talking with my wife, Geeta Priya, the other day, and she's just, you know, she's just reading Bhagavatam. You know, she's like, you know, taking care of her mother and cooking and just being her caretaker. Is, you know, like she's really ideal for that. And when she's not doing that, she's got this study set up. Like she's got this little stand that the book goes on, and then she's got her notebook over here. She does it all in hand. You know, she doesn't use the computer. She writes by hand. And we were talking about like the creation, you know, in the second canto and the third canto. And, you know, that there we saw when we were studying that years ago now, right? Years ago, how Lord Brahma, who's the original being, right? Like he grows, you know, first there's Vishnu, and then the next person that comes from that divine creator is Brahma. And Brahma, you know, is confused at first. It's dark. He sits down, he meditates. he hears the information that he needs to hear, you know, and he begins to go into deep meditation. And in that meditation, he connects. Really, what he connected with was the Bhagavatam. You know, he heard Bhagavatam in a condensed form. And with that information, he was able to begin the creation. And, you know, a large part of that is populating the universe on behalf of Vishnu. And who are the first people created?
Mars.
Yeah, his sons, the 4 Kumars, right? And he has this expectation, right? As soon as you say that, you know, what do you say, Raghunath? Trade in your expectations.
For appreciations, Lord Brahma.
There you go.
I told that one to Lord Brahma, and he was like, "Oh,
trade that in.
me, Raghunath,
Well, who
that's
am
a
I
good
gonna
one.
tra-
Can I quote
Who
you?"
am I going to trade it with? There's nobody else here.
But can I even appreciate? There's
We'll
no one
create
here.
someone and appreciate him and trade it. So he's thinking, okay, these 4 sons, they're going to help me in this mission and help me populate the universe. And they all take one look at the material energy, right? They're feeling it out. They're really deeply spiritual and really in touch. And they realize this whole thing is like a powerful illusory realm that we're in. I don't think it's wise for us to grow up and get into sex and get into family life and get into, you know, this kind of industrial kind of
Teenage
thought.
life. Are you kidding? It's horrible.
Teenagers, like, forget about it. They say, we're going to stay at little 5-year-olds. And that's it. And Brahma's like, but I'm ordering you as your father to assist me in this holy work. Now step up. And they're
No.
like, no, we will not do that. And then what happens? He becomes frustrated, disappointed. He becomes angry, you know, and then from
Third eye.
his between his eyes, you get Lord Shiva. And you know, it's slipping my mind right now, but what happens with Lord Shiva is also problematic. And then, you know, then he experiences frustration, disappointment, fear, anger, even humiliation. You know, and he's the being that has who is the most expert at manipulating the things of this world. You know, he's the one that actually has the power to do it. What can we manipulate? It's so tiny, and he's got so much ability to make adjustments in this world. And still he's going through all of those negative emotions and negative, disappointing, frustrating experiences. So yes, this world, you know, I don't lose my faith in people. I lose my faith in that this world is a suitable place to provide, not to experience happiness, but to provide us happiness. The happiness comes on a spiritual level, whether it's in this illusory realm or in the realm of reality. That's
Good.
what I'm thinking. All
That's a good one.
Okay.
All right, that's good. Let's dive. Let's deep dive. Narayanam namaskritya naram shaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tatojayam mandirayat. Before reciting the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesh vabhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Midatam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam.
Where are we at?
We are on Canto 7.
Is it 19 or something?
Yeah.
Text 19.
So, Sunda and Marka, teachers of the devoted little Sri Prahlad. They're getting
Frustrated
frustrated with
teachers.
his answers.
Frustrated.
They're getting frustrated. They're getting upset. But then
He's not
they
being
kind of,
sassy. He's just being straightforward.
they're just being straightforward. But they think after some time they got him properly indoctrinated, and I think they speak to that here.
And they said they're going to whack him with a stick if he doesn't listen.
Yeah.
I was
There it
never
is.
whacked with a stick in school, but I did have my friend got jacked up by the principal and thrown against the wall
Okay.
by the principal.
Well,
We were
your
only
father
like
was
7.
a teacher in the school, right?
The principal is the leader of the school.
No, I said your father was a teacher in the school, wasn't he?
Oh, my father. Yeah.
Well, that had to
Yeah.
be weird. That's got to be tough.
No, well, I'm talking elementary school. My father was a teacher in my high school.
Oh, that's even
But-
weirder.
Yeah.
Was it awkward?
It was a little awkward. It was, yeah. A little awkward.
Okay. You don't want to talk about it. It's okay.
I'm going to pass on this. Okay.
Okay.
Text 19. After some time, the teachers, Sunda and Amarka, thought that Prahlad was sufficiently educated in the diplomatic affairs of pacifying public leaders, appeasing them by giving the lucrative posts, dividing and ruling over them, and punishing them in cases of disobedience.
Four
Then
ways,
one
right?
day, after Prahlad's mother had personally washed the boy and dressed him nicely with sufficient ornaments, they presented him before his father.
Okay.
He'd been re-educated. When Hiranyakashipu saw that his child had fallen at his feet and was now offering obeisances as an affectionate father, he immediately began showering blessings upon the child and embraced him with both arms. A father naturally feels happy to embrace his son, and Hiranyakashipu became very happy in this way.
Very good.
So Narad is talking to Yudhisthira, my dear Yudhisthira. Hiranyakashipu seated Prahlad on his lap and began smelling his head. That's something people do to their kids. Sniff up their heads. Wash your hair with good baby shampoo. With affectionate tears gliding down from his eyes and moistening the child's smiling face, he spoke to his son as follows.
Okay. Now remember, Raghunath, we said there are 4 questions asked to Prahlad in this chapter. First one was from Hiranyakashipu, which was basically, what was your favorite thing you learned in school today?
Yeah.
Second one was from his teachers saying, where did you learn all this crazy bhakti yoga stuff that you've been talking?
Yeah.
Here comes the third question from Hiranyakashipu. It's more or less the same question as the first one. But in each one of these questions, Prahlad starts speaking mind-blowing stuff. What are you laughing about?
I have a great squirrel here. I forgot to tell you what I did today. Me and Mara, we went to Narottam Das Thakur's secret cave at Radhakund. Never
Okay.
heard about this place.
Okay.
Good friend Gord Shivana brought us there. It's in this people's house. You just got to go into their house and you got to say, can we go to the secret cave? And they're like, yes, please. And they bring us to this like little caged room. And you open this creaky door and then you climb down these very narrow stairs into a little room in the basement floor. It's as if they
What would you
built
do if they
it.
just locked it up and left you
I
in
was
there?
thinking the same thing. What if they locked us down there? They could have.
Ate
And
you.
it's like a little altar and it's under their house. They must have built the house right on top of
On
his
top
like
of it.
Bhajan cave.
Wow.
How cool is that?
What'd you do down there?
Chanted a little, talked a little,
Okay, nice.
donated 50 rupees. Nothing major.
Okay. Nothing
I was
major.
trying to close my eyes,
wanna
trying to
break
feel
the
the
bank
power
there,
of
did you?
Narottam. I said some prayers.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Text
Thank you
22.
for that, squirrel. Text 22.
Hiranyakashipu said, I'm going to take you to the cave.
Okay.
My dear Prahlad, my
By the
dear
way, I got a
son,
message
Oolong-
from your Goswami friend there. From
Krishnamari Goswami.
yeah, he said, "Oh, please come when Raghunath comes, and we will go to all the Leela stands together."
Ah.
Yeah.
Let's do it. He just sent you
But
a
you and I
message?
are never there at the same time anymore.
I know. He just sent you a message?
It was just a little bit, a week or two ago, something like that.
Okay. All right. My dear Prahlad, my dear son, O long-lived one, for so much time you have heard many things from your teachers. Now, please repeat to me whatever you think is the best of that knowledge.
And what is he thinking? Like, well, if they don't do that,
Just
then
think
you
he's going to
punish
say,
them.
oh, he's going to talk about math. Math was really good.
No. I think even he was looking more for that, like those 4 things. Like first you try to bribe, this, and then if not, then they get the stick. I think he wanted to hear that kind of thing.
No, I wasn't thinking that, but okay. Prahlada Maharaj said, uh-oh.
Oh, now hold it. This right here
This is a big one.
is a super big one, and this is the longest commentary in Srila Prabhupada's books, I think.
Pretty amazing. So here's Prahlada Maharaj.
Why don't you do the
describing-
Sanskrit, Raghu? Do the Sanskrit for us.
Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Archanam, Dasya, Atmanavedanam.
Can't you read it off the thing?
I was trying to do it by heart.
You're close. You're close.
Okay.
Shravanam,
Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam.
Now hold it. Why don't you read one line at a time? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam.
I got it right.
No, but you did it like you said. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam.
Well, I was just doing it from memory.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the same. Maybe if you read it, it would be.
Yes. Okay. All right. So this is good. These are big ones. Prahlada Maharaj said. So here, what's the most important thing you learned? Hearing and chanting, Shravanam Kirtanam, about the transcendental holy name, form, and qualities, and paraphernalia and pastimes of Lord Vishnu. That's the most important. Remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia. That's Archanam, right? Deity worship. Offering prayers to the Lord, Vandanam. Becoming his servant, Dasyam. Considering the Lord one's best friend, Sakyam. And surrendering everything unto him. In other words, serving him with the body, mind, and words. Atma Navedanam. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Sri Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. What do you think Hiranyakashipu thought about that?
I don't think he liked it. I don't think he liked it at all. That was not what he wanted to hear. But these are the 9. These are commonly known as the 9 processes of bhakti. 5 processes of pure devotional service. And what exactly does that mean? And we can get into that a bit. But like, there are worldly acts we have to do in this world, right? Like, you're a father, and in one sense, that's like a worldly responsibility that you have.
Sure.
Now, some people are just fathers, and it has absolutely nothing to do with bhakti or devotional service. The action of being a father isn't inherently related to bhakti. But you can take the role of a father and fill that role with meditation on Krishna, and then that role takes on the nature of bhakti, right? Like, if you're seeing your children as children of God, and it's your responsibility to care for them and on behalf of God, and so on. Now you've taken a worldly activity and you've instilled it with the nature of bhakti through your remembrance of Krishna as you do it. But there are certain activities that you don't have to invest them with bhakti. They are by nature invested with bhakti, right? And so that is these 9 different processes. And so when we say someone practices bhakti yoga, like, sometimes I think in the Western like yoga world, the ideas of what these things really mean kind of get really watered down. So like, oh yeah, I'm into like bhakti yoga, but
Bhakti Vinyas.
whatever it may be, but whatever their conception of it might be. But really, the bhakti yogi, they have established, they set an intention. They have established in their mind their goal, and that goal is to achieve Krishna prema, pure love for God, through the practices of bhakti. And it means that they do these practices, some of these practices, at least one of these practices, as part of their, as their practice, so like particularly like Shravanam, hearing, and Kirtanam, chanting. These are things that the bhakti yogi does that an Ashtanga yogi may not do, a Jnana yogi may not do, a Karma yogi may not do, but the bhakti yogis do these things, right? They hear the pastimes of Krishna in the Bhagavatam. They chant the names of Krishna on their japamala, in secluded meditation or in kirtan, like in a communal meditation. They smarnam, they meditate on the pastimes of Krishna and remember them. Anyway, you know what, Raghunath, I did, because it's such a long purport, but I just
You
took
condensed
little.
it, made it to a
I took
Cliff
little
Notes.
nuggets. Yeah. Should I read from them?
Yeah. Hear your
Okay.
nuggets.
So let's start with Shravanam. So these are some of the
Okay.
things that Prabhupada mentions. Shravanam means hearing. And everybody says, hearing from the text of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is considered one of the most important processes of hearing. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is full of transcendental chanting of the holy name, and therefore the chanting and hearing of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam are transcendentally full of mellows. So this is standard. If we want to practice bhakti, we should know that this is my daily practice. Just like someone practicing Ashtanga yoga, they're doing asana, they're doing pranayama, they're doing pratyahara, like those are standard facets of that practice. Hearing Bhagavatam in particular, hearing from these sacred texts, becomes an essential part of that. Now for Kirtanam, Prabhupada shares some of this. The hearing of the holy name has been described above. Now let us try to understand the chanting of the holy name, which is the second item in the consecutive order. It is recommended that such chanting be performed loudly. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Narada Muni says that without shame, he began traveling all over the world, chanting the holy name of the Lord. Similarly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has advised, Trinadapi Sunichena Tador Api Suhishnuna Amanena Manadena Kirtanaya Sadahari. A devotee can very peacefully chant the holy name of the Lord by behaving more humbly than the grass, being more tolerant like a tree, and offering respects to everyone without expecting honor from anyone else. Such qualifications make it easier to chant the holy name of the Lord. The process of transcendental chanting can be easily performed by anyone, even if one is physically unfit, classified lower than others, devoid of material qualifications. Check. Check. Go down the list. Devoid of material qualifications, or not at all elevated in terms of pious activities. Check. The chanting of the holy name is beneficial. An aristocratic birth, an advanced education, nope. Beautiful bodily features, nope. Wealth, nope. And similar results of pious activities are all unnecessary for advancement in spiritual life, for one can very easily advance simply by chanting the holy name. It is understood from the authoritative source of Vedic literature that especially in this age, Kali Yuga, people are generally short-lived, check, extremely bad in their habits,
Check,
and inclined to accept methods of devotional service that are not bona fide. Very interesting, right? There's just so many, misrepresentations of it out there.
There's a lot out there.
Moreover, they are always disturbed by material conditions, and they are mostly unfortunate. Under the circumstances, the performance of other processes such as yagna, doing these elaborate rituals. Dana, giving in charity. Tapa, performing austerities. Kriya, different yogic processes for purification. Sacrifices, charity, and so on, are not at all possible. Prabhupada's saying you guys cannot be yogis. You guys, being the ritual Brahmins won't help you. Just take these names, right? Just accept these names and meditate and hear these holy names. So that was Shravanam and then Kirtanam.
A good question on the message board. What if a person's deaf? Achyuta asks.
Oh, that's an interesting
A
question.
person's deaf. They can't do that one?
You can feel that vibration, though. Even deaf people can, let that name vibrate in you. Right?
Or they could do they could do the other one. They could do the
It is said,
Sakyam.
but what we can say is that you can just chant in your mind also. Chant silently in your mind.
What if they never heard the holy name? How can they figure it out? How can Helen
I don't know what
Keller
it's like to be
chant?
that deaf. If you never heard any sounds, how do you understand what sounds sound like? I think you would have to feel the vibration with your body, and then you meditate on those vibrations, I suppose.
How do you tell them to worship a deity if they can't hear? You could see it. What if they can't see also?
Sign language, yeah, sign language.
What if they couldn't see? Helen Keller did it.
Then you just got to chant at them.
You gotta chant. They can't hear. They're chanting at them.
No, I would take your hand. If this happened to you, I would take your hand and.
What if they had no hands? What if they had no?
Then you just pour some Ganga water on them. Okay, all right. Let's pull it back in. Okay. All right, the next one. It's called Smaranam, Raghunath.
Remembering.
We say remembering, but we might think more, it means like meditating, right? Like bringing your mind to something, to an object of focus, right? It was interesting how they spoke about here, about Prabhupada wrote, according to different relationships with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are varieties of Nam Anukirtanam, chanting of the holy name, and thus according to different relationships, these mellows and mellows, there are 5 kinds of remembering. Now he's speaking about Smaranam as like these really yogic meditational practices. So he says this. There are as follows. A, conducting research into the worship of a particular form of the Lord. B, concentrating the mind on one subject and withdrawing the mind's activities of thinking, feeling, and willing from all other subjects. That's like a very Ashtanga yogic kind of idea. C, concentrating on a particular form of the Lord. This is called meditation. We hear descriptions of that kind of thing, like in the 3rd canto, where Vishnu's form is described, and you're bringing your mind to the feet, and then the shins, and then you're moving all the different features. D, concentrating one's mind continuously on the form of the Lord. This is called Dhruv Anusmriti, or perfect meditation. Like your mind stays there for a very long time, I guess. And E, awakening a likening for concentration upon a particular form. This is called samadhi or trance. It sounds like it's different levels of depth of focus. But then this is what now Prabhupada shares this, and this is kind of more like when bhakti yogis say smaranam. It seems like to me this is more what they're talking about. Mental concentration upon particular pastimes of the Lord in particular circumstances is also called remembrance. Therefore, samadhi, trance, can be possible in 5 different ways in terms of one's relationship. And when Prabhupada says that, mental concentration, I'm bringing my mind to Krishna's pastimes, as I read about in these books, in particular circumstances. And what I understand that to mean is one way that it's commonly done is Krishna does different pastimes at different times of the day. In the morning, he wakes up and he does this, and then he goes and he does that. And then, and at the different times of the day, we know what he's doing. So there are yogis that sit, and during those different parts of the day, they meditate on what Krishna does at those times of the day. So perhaps that's what Prabhupada is alluding to. Or
I
maybe
thought
he's
it was just alluding to, you remember a particular pastime and Krishna stealing the clothes of the gopis, stealing butter, leaving Vrindavan or playing with the cowherd boys. That's what I always look at as smarana.
well, he was saying in particular circumstances. That's the phrase that I'm keying in on. So I think that also might mean, that also could be a reference to different rasas, right?
Yeah.
How Krishna is with his cowherd friends, how he is with the cowherd girls, how he is with his parents, So anyway, remembering Krishna's pastimes, smarnam, is a very beautiful, rich. It's a practice that requires greater purity. Otherwise, you have difficult focusing the mind. But it's a very beautiful, rich practice, and it's one that, as we begin to advance, our mind starts to go there naturally. Oh, we're running out of time.
We're out of time.
Maybe we stop and we pick up Padasevanam when we tomorrow.
Yeah. But tomorrow we're off. Tomorrow, the day after tomorrow,
Day after tomorrow,
at our earlier time.
Cliffhanger.
It's the 9 processes of bhakti cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Hey, Mara, what do you got for us today? How can we remember the Bhagavatam in the course of the day?
I got some good stuff today.
Okay.
Yeah. Move through the world in a responsible way, showing love and respect for all.
Oh.
It sounds like the whole nugget itself.
It's like that's
It
you
sounds
gotta
like you just
condense that
copied
nugget.
The nugget.
Yeah, this is a good one. Give it your all, whether you're a little squirrel or Hanuman.
Little squirrel.
Little squirrel, I like that.
Krishna has a plan for each of us.
How about this?
Lifted Govardhan Hill. How about that?
How about this? Some squirrels are actually not a distraction, or something like that.
If Kaustubha says them, they're not a distractive squirrel.
We could tie.
It's a
that
good squirrel.
that squirrel story ties it exactly with the Hanuman lifting Govardhan Hill, because Govardhan Hill was, they told Hanuman that. Sorry, I'm just gonna go ahead and take Raghu's squirrel, but it was tied to Kaustubha's squirrel.
Oh, was it tied to my
Because-
squirrel? How so?
Yeah.
Maybe the nugget should be.
I thought you were going to tell the whole thing.
Kaustubha.
Hanuman had to go to the bathroom. He put down the mound. All that's,
no, that's Palasya Muni. When
that's
Hanuman
Palasya Muni, that's right,
Hanuman
that's
took
right, yeah.
Govardhan to go build the bridge to Lanka to go rescue Sita. It's the
Look, it was
same
totally
story.
tied in.
Yeah, it all tied in. And I was like, man. I can't
Forgive me,
believe it.
Raghunath. Forgive me,
this.
Mara. I have done wrong.
I want everybody on Zoom to repeat after me. Sometimes Raghunath is right. Sometimes Raghunath's right. That's all you have to say today. That's your mantra today. That's your takeaway.
Okay.
Good night, everyone. Hit the music.
And
Find our
most of the
contribution in
time,
Find our contribution in bhakti and give wholeheartedly.
okay, that's nice.
Be an instrument in Krishna's fight.
There you go.
Lose faith in the material world, providing us happiness.
It's not going to do it.
We don't need a high birth or good karma to advance in spiritual life. Just chant.
That's good news.
Trade your expectations for appreciation, BrahmaJi.
Oh,
Yeah, BrahmaJi.
And
and
Kaustubha is not Taylor Swift.
that's right.
I know some of you guys are thinking
People
well, isn't
mistake me
Taylor
for her all the
Swift?
time.
All the time. Excuse me, sir. Are you Taylor Swift? In the subway. In my where they don't get out
Big
much.
crowds.
You're not
Big
Taylor
crowds.
Swift, are you?
Big Bengali crowds are like, they all crowd around me. It's Taylor Swift. I'm like, no.
Oh, Krishna. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We got a little. I sincerely apologize from the bottom of my heart that we are not a daily yoga podcast for the last 2 weeks. But we want you to know at least we feel bad about it. How about that? That's something. We're not proud of it. Things are moving. Things are shifting.
Oh, and we got to remind people that when we come back on Thursday, it's at 6 a.m.
Eastern.
You know why
6
it's
a.m.
at 6 a.m., Kaustubha? Because we want to get into our Vrindavan evening mode,
All right.
which is you go to the temple, you have the kirtan, you go see other temples.
Of course, I was
find other
sacrificing
secret
that for
caves
your.
of the acharyas.
I was sacrificing my evening temple life for your Goa party life past week or so. But, as you like.
You have no evening temple life, do you?
Of course there is. Of course there's all kind of kirtans going on every night in Mayapur.
And do you go to them?
Yes, often.
You wouldn't go. You sit in your room all day.
If you just go back
never
to
leave that
December,
chair.
November, you see I was doing it all the
Well,
time.
the podcast is going to end, and the only thing different about you is there will be not a microphone in front of you. You're going to sit there. You're going to think of things. Think of more stuff.
Well, I'm feeling resentment towards me because I cut off your squirrel. I apologize, Raghunath. I apologized about that. I thought you were going to get into
Krishna.
putting down the mountain and going to the bathroom.
Okay,
and
people.
all that.
It's a beautiful
Ready?
day for a beautiful day. Let the magic continue to flow in a big Haribo.